So you want to get into Warhammer, but you have no clue where to start. You have no clue what a Nurgle is. And what is that weird baby thing that's floating? You come to the right place. We're the Average Painters, and I'm going to be taking my buddy Kev over here through his first steps into Warhammer. In this video, we'll be selecting a faction for Kev to play, just to get him started, get your first box, get you painted. How's that feel?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Excited. Let's get rolling.
So before we even start looking at factions, what is your knowledge of Warhammer? What is your, any basis, anything that you've ever known previously about Warhammer at any point?
So, very minimal. I know it's a tabletop game, 1 versus 1, army versus army. Couldn't tell you what the different characters are, what the different species, races, or anything like that. Couldn't really tell you about that. I've heard of Space Marines. That's about it. I know that there's a big following behind painting of the figures, as much as there is playing. But I'm coming into this as an absolute novice. I'm an open book. You open clean canvas. Whatever knowledge you throw on me will be what I take in. I'm excited to be kind of given an army rather than having to choose one, because I feel like that could take me years to actually get round to doing once I start looking into the different ones. But yeah.
So kind of the reason, that's one of the reasons we thought about doing this way, because it kind of come off the back of, because you were watching, if you've seen any of our previous videos, me and James did a combat patrol thing where we spun the wheel, got all that. It kind of come off the back of that idea, didn't it, really?
It did, yeah.
But it kind of just takes the emphasis off, there's so much to start off with Warhammer, there's so many things, there's so many factions that you just don't know where to start. You pick an army, you paint it once, you get another one, you paint another army, and just going through all of that kind of stuff until you find the one that you love. You've spent £300 and you've got 3 models that you're like, yep, that's it. So we wanted to kind of stop that. So what we've done is we've created a list of what is the easiest armies that we think to build and paint. These are our kind of picks. If there's any that you kind of think, you can obviously let us know in the comments. For any of the new guys that are starting, that will obviously be very helpful. So basically I've got the list here, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to spin the wheel.
Let's do it.
Okay. So to start off, we've got the generic Space Marines. You kind of know a little bit about that. Do you know what is a Space Marine? If you go from the first novice point of view, what is a Space Marine?
I couldn't ultimately tell you. I know that it's a character, it's a person, they're part of the army. I don't know if that's the race or if that's whatever, but a Space Marine is, for me, it's just one of the choices that you have. Yeah.
So a Space Marine basically is your gold standard human. It's somebody that's been genetically altered to be a super soldier. So basically they get children when, they basically take children from their homes and... and they perform surgery on them to basically turn them into super soldiers. Is essentially the lowdown on them.
Right,
now, these can be broken down into multiple different, there's hundreds and hundreds of Space Marines that you could pick. So what we're going to do is we've got a list of, so we've got the generic Space Marines, which you've got your Ultramarines, your White Scars, your Imperial Fist, all that kind of stuff. That we can pick from.
And these are separate armies of
the
Space Marines.
So basically, a Space Marine is set into chapters, and each chapter is its own army and runs by its own rules, governed by what is called a chapter master, who's basically the leader of that army. They're all part of the Imperium. So the Imperium are man. They fight alongside and are for humanity for the most part. But that chapter master basically gets to decide what they get to do. They have full autonomy over themselves. So they can kind of they're based off 1,000 Marines each. Anytime it goes over 1,000 Marines, they split off into a separate chapter essentially.
So that's why there's so many of them because they keep breeding, stealing children, and making more of them.
Well, they can't breed.
Oh, okay. But still
That's
children.
That's how, yeah. So you put your gene seed in a child.
Wait.
And then, and then
Okay.
and then that child becomes a Space Marine.
I want to get involved in this hobby.
Yeah, so you've got your generic Space Marines, then we've got what is called the Divergent chapters.
Okay.
So these are chapters that don't follow the Codex, which I know it sounds, again, this is intro into Warhammer. It sounds really confusing. So we've just said that there's a bunch of chapters that have 1,000 Marines.
Yeah.
That's because they follow what is called the Codex, the Codex Astartes, which a character that's going to be really big, Rabute Gilliman, Rebuttal, Bobby G, whatever you want to call him, basically come up with the Codex Astartes at the end of what is called the Horus Heresy, which we won't get into now, because that is an absolute cluster of it's just a mess of the amount of lore that I would be giving you on just that one thing, which is the prequel to 40k.
Prequel.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
It's over like
let's try and keep it
it's like
vanilla.
60 books of lore just to tell you that Gilliman decided that instead of everybody having what was called a legion, which was basically, so there was the Ultramarines, White Scars, Dark Angels, Blood Angels.
Yeah.
They didn't have 1,000 Marines, they had like hundreds of thousands, like they just kept growing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Horus Heresy happened, he split the legions into what's called chapters, which is the 1,000 Marines.
Yeah. Okay.
Wrote a book about it, when everybody needs to follow this.
More kind of order.
Yeah, everybody needs to follow this now, and everyone, okay, cool. Apart from certain chapters that went,
No. Okay, right.
Screw you. So they're the Dark Angels.
Okay.
Who basically, well, not Legion, which my army, or my predominant army, who basically don't really follow the Codex. They do follow the Codex, but they don't follow the Codex as a whole kettle of fish with that, which if you get Dark Angels, we'll go into that lore.
You might have to fill me in a little bit more information, like a little bit later on when I start understanding what's what.
There's the Space Wolves, who basically just said screw you to everything. They're basically space Vikings. They're pretty cool. They're either space Vikings or, depending on how you want to play them, furries.
Okay. Right.
Because that's the only way I can describe it.
Okay, fair enough.
There's the Blood Angels, who are essentially vampires.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which are pretty cool.
I can see where this is kind of going, where they're getting the ideas for each one now, as if it's some kind of mythical thing that gives the idea of where they tee off to. Okay, yeah.
And then there's the Black Templars, who are a successor chapter for the Imperial Fists. So the Imperial Fists were the original chapter. Right. The Black Templars, who essentially have become so popular and famous that they're their own supplement, essentially. Because they...
Glory boys.
They don't care about the 1,000 Marines. They are just like... What is 1,000 Marines? And they just have as many as they
don't have like a limit. They don't
they don't set themselves a limit. They don't care. They're the most devout people to the Emperor. Okay. Essentially. So those are your basic Space Marine kind of chapters that we can pick from.
Okay. So how many have we got from that? Was there? Did you read off? Is it 6?
Space Marines. So generic Space Marines, Dark Angels, Blood Angels. Space Wolves and Black Templars. Okay. So there's 5 there. Yeah. If you get Space Marines, we've got a whole section of thing to go through then. But we'll get to that.
We'll cover that.
And then on the flip side of that, there's Chaos.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Chaos?
So if it's similar to, because obviously you've got the main things of being order and chaos. Mm-hmm. So where you've said there's certain Marines that have gone against the Emperor, as it were, I see them as like an opposite end to that. So you've got the order, which is good guys, as it were, chaos, bad guys, villains. Yeah. So they would be the ultimate kind of enemy for the Marines. That's how I would see that, just based on...
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the legions... Yeah. And the Horus Heresy. These are the ones that split off during the Horus Heresy. Okay. Turn traitor. Yep. and are basically doing their own thing. So there's the generic Chaos Force, which again is similar to Space Marines, where you've got a whole lot of things. There are other, what are called war bands, they call them war bands, who have come about afterwards, so after the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
So what was a chapter, that's fallen to Chaos, because Chaos is always trying to corrupt people.
Okay.
So that you could paint, but there's this thing called the Black Legion, which is the main kind of poster boy, which every box art that you see, I'll probably potentially put a picture up, or whatever. That's what you see it of, and that's basically all of them come together under one man who's trying to take on the Imperium, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And then with that, there's the Chaos Gods, who have their own kind of...
Gods as well now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we'll say gods, because they're not technically gods.
Okay.
To go not into too much detail, again, we could probably do like a podcast on this of what is essentially
I feel like I need to
Warhammer.
do some research, some homework of my own, I guess, after we've gone through this initial bit, so I get a bit more understanding of what we're looking at.
So there's this thing called the Warp, which is basically a realm between realms kind of thing. Sea of Souls, you might hear it. Immaterium, anything like that. Whenever you're doing any research, you might see that come across. Okay. And in there are multiple Chaos Gods, but the main ones are Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh.
Okay.
All kind of represent a different emotion. So that's why it's not a god. So every person in Warhammer has a soul.
Right.
Enough people in that race that have a soul reflects into the warp, which then that Chaos God can get born. So Khorne is god of war, god of anger kind of thing.
Yep.
Nurgle is pestilence, plague, death.
Okay.
Slaanesh is excess.
Okay.
And Tzeentch is knowledge and like trickery.
Interesting. Okay.
So Khorne has the World Eaters.
Yep.
Tzeentch has the Thousand Sons.
Yep.
Nurgle has the Death Guard. And Slaanesh has the Emperor's Children.
Okay. It's a lot to take in now. Like there's so much more than just it being a tabletop game of someone trying to beat somebody else. There's so much more depth to it.
So the best thing about this hobby, and this is especially if you're new, the hobby can be the painting on its own. It can be the gaming on its own. So you could just put models on, not paint them, build them. You could use coins if you wanted.
Yeah.
Or there's the books and the lore, which is its own hobby because there's so many books, so much lore. Because I think this has been around for like the 80s. So the amount of lore that's there, and it's an absolute minefield, and it's brilliant because none of it makes sense. And the whole point is none of it makes sense.
Love it.
And people that you can try and make sense of it, but you speak to somebody else, and they will get something completely different because their
interpretation of something.
And the lore's so vast on everything that you might have read one bit of lore or seen one bit of lore.
Yeah.
There's some brilliant lore YouTubers that I'll probably tell you about towards the end, or that you can watch that really actually do make sense of everything. But you'll read one bit of lore, somebody else will read something else, and you'll be having a conversation about something that is completely different but the same, but that's because they've either retconned something or they've not thought about something, because there's been so many authors that have done something that one of them's done a book
some
years
storyline
ago, and then another person's done another book years and years later and completely forgot that book ever existed.
Oh wow, okay. Interesting. To be fair, it's the same when I do a lot of reading on Star Wars, for example, which I know is a different universe to what we're talking about now, but like there's so many different tee-offs and branches of different Star Wars, like canon and non-canon and stuff like that. So I can already see that it's similar to that, where there's so many different storylines, but they all kind of intertwine in the main kind of end is
Yeah.
roughly the same. It's
Yeah,
just
so
different
yeah,
journeys.
Star Wars is Warhammer for babies, essentially, is the only way I can describe it. I love Star Wars, but Star Wars
Yeah.
in comparison to Warhammer is so dwarfed by the amount that is in there.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody that knows that like every character in the Star Wars films has a backstory.
Yeah.
Whereas that's essentially on Warhammer, but Warhammer's scale is so much like it's almost
It
infinite.
already sounds it, to be
Yeah,
fair. Yeah.
and kind of moving on from there, there's two other factions that are pretty easy to build and paint,
Yeah.
which is Adeptus Custodes, who are essentially the guard to the Emperor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They predate Space Marines. They're better than Space Marines in almost every way.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
So what was the gold standard of humans has a gold standard, essentially.
Oh, okay, nice.
They are and as far as Warhammer models go, one of the cheapest armies to get.
Yeah.
Because there's
okay.
so little models that you have to paint.
Yeah.
You can just field a table of like 10
Yeah.
rather than 30, 40 models.
Okay, interesting.
And then almost on the flip side of that is
Yeah.
the orcs.
Orcs, yeah, okay. I've got some of the reference for orcs from obviously other kind of things like World of Warcraft, stuff like that. Is obviously like orcs is like that. I don't know if they're the same,
Yeah,
but that's how I see orcs. Same as
kind of.
Lord of the Rings level.
Kind of. So all of Warhammer's taken from fantasy
Yeah.
and plopped into the sci-fi universe because that's
Yeah.
how it just started.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
There's a lot of it like that.
Yeah, so the orcs were a really intelligent race. Now
Okay.
really stupid
Yeah.
fungus.
Okay.
They grow from like they are fungus. They're spore mines
Oh,
essentially,
really? Oh, okay.
and
Interesting.
they are one of the most bizarre, most random armies that you can kind of play. But yeah, they're kind of a really fun thing. But again, it's just the reason why it's just almost one colour.
Yeah, I'm assuming green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, also known as the greenskins. So if you hear
Oh,
that,
okay.
that's
That term.
kind of
Yeah, makes sense.
But that's essentially the whistle stop tour of all of those armies.
Okay, so we've got 12, is my count
Yeah.
right? About 12 different ones to choose from. Okay. The vast number, even just going from like thinking of just Space Marines against whatever
Yeah.
to now having 12 different armies, and you're saying that that's not even
No.
the whole
No.
amount.
No. So I've missed
Okay.
off humans because there's baseline humans in it.
Okay.
Which I'll go through the reasons why we kind of skipped off some of these because the humans, the space elves,
Space elves,
who
okay.
are Eldari or dark elves or Jakari, the technical word for them.
Okay, yep.
But they're dark elves. Just everyone will call them dark elves.
Yeah.
So there's good elves, bad elves. The reason why a lot of those haven't been picked is because either the models are pretty small,
Okay.
because they kind of try and keep everything to the right scale.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to build. Essentially, is the main reason for when you first starting out.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
yeah.
and even though there's a lot of ways that you can make them easy to paint, which we'll get into. Starting off with something that small as a canvas, whereas a Space Marine is very big and there's a lot of rounded edges and there's a lot less almost detail because a lot of the models are very detailed in those.
Yeah.
So it can make it a little bit harder to kind of start with those armies, and it's very easy to get frustrated in this hobby because, and what we'll go into like a little bit is, you start out and you look at the box art and you look at people online. It's so easy now to compare yourself, and kind of almost one of the reasons why we, not only just to get you into the hobby, we thought we'd bring you along on the journey on the channel, but it's that thing of comparison is the enemy of joy, that saying. It's going to be so easy to look at everybody else's work and go,
compare.
why doesn't mine look like that? Whereas that's not the case for 90% of people, but you only see obviously the Golden Demon entries that are out there, which is the most famous paint competition.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, let's get spinning the wheel then. See what you get.
Yeah.
So we've got our wheel up now. As you can see, all the factions are there. Let's spin the wheel. See what we get.
Okay.
Yeah. So Black Templars. So you got the Black Templars. How you feel about that?
I've got some homework to do.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find out a bit more about them. I need to know what they're about, because they're the ones that you said were larger than the normal kind of 1,000 members, kind of did what they want but still within some kind of order. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these boys are about.
But based off the name, but what based off the name, what do you currently think that the Black Templars are going to be about?
Okay, so based off of just the Templar name, obviously that goes back to Crusades of the Middle Ages, of Holy Crusades and stuff along those lines. Black, I don't know whether that's just their colour scheme, because obviously there's a lot of others that are colour schemes, so that's how I kind of see that initially, just based off of the initial Templar name. So
what we're going to do is we're going to cut back to when you've got the box.
I'll sure look online and see where we can find somewhere to buy it from.
Do a little bit of homework on maybe the Black Templars. I'll come back with a bunch of lore dump to give you.
Lovely.
A couple of people that I recommend, and everybody in the whole YouTube space or hobby space would probably recommend Arbiter Ian. He's a YouTuber. Does amazing lore videos in about 15-20 minutes tops. I'm pretty sure he's got a Black Templar video up there. Really easy to understand, really well thought out videos as well. So that's, if you've not seen a lore video before, that's the one person I would say to start off with. There's a bunch of others that are out there that I could recommend. Genuinely, there are amazing YouTubers out there. But I think he's kind of the one that is like the easiest to kind of get into, because he also knows how silly Warhammer is, so he kind of approaches it from that way. But
we'll look into that.
We'll be back.